Hello everyone, Professor Josh Fay here. I'm glad you were able to make it on this fine Sunday evening for the start of our new sermon series on the book of Malachi.
What?
Mala who?
Malamars. I love Malamars.
No, we are not eating Malamars. We are studying Malachi. Please sit down. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I thought this high-quality video introduction would provide you with a basic understanding of some of the themes of Malachi and help answer the question, why, oh why, should I read Malachi?
Tell me why.
So let's get started with a few quick facts. Fact number 1, the Old Testament teaches about God before Jesus. Fact number 2, the New Testament teaches about God during and after Jesus. Fact number 3, Malachi is the last book of the Old Testament. So, since we will be looking at an Old Testament book, here is some background you should know. First of all, the Old Testament is the story of how God chose one group of people to be the main way He would communicate with humanity. These people were called Israelites because they were descendants of Israel, who was the son of Isaac and the grandson of Abraham. Now, Israel had 12 sons who made up the 12 tribes of Israel.
What are they called?
Maki, Ricky, Danny, Terry, Mikey, Davey, Timmy, Tommy, Joey, Robbie, Johnny, and Brian.
Say it again.
Maki, Ricky, Danny, Terry, Mikey, Davey, Timmy, Tommy, Joey, Robbie, Johnny, and Brian.
Okay, these are not their real names, but one of these sons was called Judah, and for this reason we often refer to these descendants of Israel as Jewish. Anyway, God interacted with these Israelites in a few different ways. First, He made rules for them to follow to help them better understand God and the way the world works. The most famous of these rules was the 10 Commandments, which include things like don't murder, don't covet your friend's girlfriend or camels. Now, God knew that humans could never follow all of these rules, but the rules themselves were good and they helped people realize how sinful they were and teach them how to put God first. Okay, so God gave rules, but He also communicated to Israelites through animal sacrifice. The Israelites would kill animals and burn them on an altar as an offering to God, and as a reminder that they couldn't follow the rules and needed God's forgiveness. And finally, God communicated with the Israelites through prophets. God would send prophets to let people know how things were going, and most of the time they came with bad news. They would let the Israelites know what bad stuff would happen if they kept ignoring God's plan, but also what good things would happen if they turned back and put God first in their lives. Hallelujah. And now we arrive at the book of Malachi, which was written by one of these prophets around 400 BC. Before Malachi was alive, the Israelites were slaves to the evil king Nebuchadnezzar. They lived unhappily in a foreign land. But the evil king Nebuchadnezzar was taken over by the Persians and by Cyrus, and he let the Israelites go back to Jerusalem to practice their religion again. So, when Malachi was written, the Israelites were back at home. They were allowed to follow God's rules again, and they rebuilt their temple so they could sacrifice animals again. And they were living large compared to when they were slaves. Now, logic would follow that they would be thankful to God for all that He had done, and that they would put Him first in everything they did. But this was not the case. They were living large, but they were not putting God first. So this answers the question, why, oh why, should I read Malachi?
Tell me why.
The book is about a generation like us. We are in many ways living large, but at the same time we have a hard time putting God first. God sent the prophet Malachi to the Israelites to ask the same question we must ask ourselves today. Are we truly putting God first, or are we giving God our leftovers?